We shot about 90 hours of footage, and I think the process was completely surprising because I had no idea when I started shooting. If I was making a short film, if it was like a biopic about this guy, what it was going to be. And I think the surprises came when I came back and realized how deep the story of the family was, and how that really became a really critical part of the story of the film. And then the elements with the raven, that was a real surprise. And I think as that mystical quality came into the film, that was when I realized, oh, okay, there's going to be more than one layer to this film. I was conscious of gaining the trust and thinking a lot about how I was going to do that. And I certainly would think about that in terms of the interviewing, and the kinds of questions that I was asking. And I was sensitive to what they had been through, the family had been through after the accident. And I also knew that they wouldn't have just let anybody come in and tell this story. So I knew that they were offering trust, but I had to maintain it. I couldn't just treat it poorly. And I realized that there was that I was bringing a lot more to this than an idea. Originally I thought, oh, that's a good idea, let's go explore it. And then when I was in there and shooting it and starting to ask questions, I started to realize, oh, you know what, this is about me also. These are questions I have about myself, about my own fear, my own relationships in my life, and that I was trying to work out in some ways in the making of this film. It's been very interesting to watch this evolve and watch this sort of film reveal itself. And I think just that idea of staying with stories that are about people, that are about what they're experiencing, what they're feeling, that's what interests me, and I think people respond to it because they're human. I do think there's similarities between this and my first film, Love from Ground Zero. The obvious ones are about dealing with loss, because both films, explore that. The mountains play a really big part in Love from Ground Zero also, more as a metaphor for something you're trying to get to. Love from Ground Zero was something I wrote, and there was at the heart of that a story of a guy who is trying to find a simpler way to live his life, and the mountains kind of represent that for him. And I think it was the thing that drew me to making this movie. The family has seen the film, and I was very happy that they responded to it really. I mean, they loved the film. I think it took Ruedi a while. I think at first Ruedi, it was weird for him to watch himself. But now, having seen it a couple times, I think I think they all really like the way that the material was handled. And I want audiences to go on the complete ride of the film and run through the gamut of emotions, from the lighter stuff to the heavier stuff to, experiencing a sense of freedom of what it must be like to be up there, and also to feel what it must be like to go through an experience like this family went through. And I think at the end, what I would like for people to feel is just satisfied that they'd been brought into a world that they normally wouldn't go to for most people, and that they would have had an experience and seen people sharing a deeper part of themselves, and just felt sort of complete in that they had gotten that experience and somehow it touched them.